Wise Wednesdays started on April 1st with a humble episode on forgiveness. Between then and now, we've had heart-led conversations on happiness, stress management, relationships, resilience, public speaking, respecting boundaries, self-discovery, mindset, just being, listening, reclaiming your life, intuition, and even food. I would like to thank all my listeners and the guests who gave me their time and trust. It is because of you that we kept going. It is because of you that we kept growing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Welcome everybody to today's episode of Wise Wednesdays with RK. Oh my God, at which number are we already? We've been consistently doing this since 1st of April 2020 when pandemic hit, and we thought there's so much of overwhelm. Let's do more with what we have. And who do I have on board today? I have with me Dr. Menaka, who is lovingly called the next Oprah of Asia. She's a leadership and resilience trainer for professionals who want to assist professionals find happiness and success. She's all about the smile. She's been a dentist, 25 years of experience as a dentist, practice owner, lecturer, and trainer. She's into NLP, hypnotherapy, and she is super fabulous. Above all of that, she's super fabulous as a person, as a friend. And how I met her is a conversation within this conversation. And I am so, so grateful that she said yes today. So without further ado, I bring to you my good friend, Menaka. Thank you, Dr. Menaka, for saying yes. Dr. Menaka Pothalingam.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And hello, everyone, whoever is there. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I know Rakia definitely, her followers are all over the world. So welcome to everyone on board.
Thank you. And we are talking today about Smile Leadership Secrets. And yes, you know, I'm known as the Smile Strategist. And when I got to know about Menaka and her smile, I actually, and I'm going to confess, it's going to make this very awkward, but I'm going to confess because I mean, you rarely meet somebody who thinks so much like you, where you go up to the person and say, "Excuse me, what's your smile all about?" And that lovely, adorable person that she is said, "I'm a dentist. It's always been about the smile for me." And how that smile has evolved into a leadership space. Now, that's the conversation I knew we had to have today on our conversation, on this interview. So thank you, Menaka, for having that big heart. And I do, again, apologize for being the person that I am.
That's absolutely okay. Everybody's entitled to ask questions. Powerful questions lead to powerful answers, they say.
Yes.
As you mentioned, because I've been a dentist for 25 years now, and everyone usually first thing they comment about me is the smile. So it kind of stuck to me. My academy is called Smile Leadership Academy. The practice is called Smile 32 Dental. So it has been always about the smile. And I think, you know, I feel smile is the only thing you can share, which brings happiness to you and people around.
So true. So true. And this is one person. And as I was saying, let me share with you how I actually met her, which is beautiful. I was in UK for a training program, and she had just presented at the Women's Economic Forum. And social media, thank you so much. The post showed up, and I said, "I'm in UK, and here's this magnificent woman who's sharing her story of courage. She's been through a lot in life, and she's come out stronger, sharper, brighter than she used to be." And I said, "I have to meet her." There was just something inspiring and magnetic about her. I said, "I have to meet her." And I connected with her. And while it often takes me months to meet up with people, we just decided on the same day, isn't it? I was leaving that day and we decided, and she was so kind. She said, "Listen, if you take the train and you get down here, I can pick you up from that train station." So we actually did that. I got off at at a train station. She took me to the airport, and we used that hour that we had, our 45 minutes that we had, to chat like friends who were, who were separated in the last birth or something like that. Like totally there. So thank you again, Menika, for being that person. Hi, Vidya. We have another friend of mine who's watching. Thank you. And we have Shiromi Stephen who says hello and congratulations to you.
Hi, Shiromi. Lovely to have you here.
Yes. So tell us about the Smile Leadership secrets, please.
So, sure. So for me, it's all about, I have been that person before I start anything else. What my life evolved about professional success. I was that girl who cried when I got 9 out of 10 was not good enough. And it was never enough. And I'm a course junkie. I do courses one after the other. And it was all about professional progress, professional success. But it took depression. I feel I have hit the 3Ds. I have witnessed death, gone through the divorce, and hit the depression. For me to understand the personal happiness is so important if you want to sustain the professional progress and success. Whether you achieve it or not is a secondary question, but if you want to sustain long term, you do need personal satisfaction and personal happiness. And that's where the self leadership comes from. Because I think if you can't lead yourself, how can you then lead your team, lead your organization, or be a professional as a healthcare professional as well, care for patients? You have to be your best version before you can do anything else for anyone else. And that's where this comes from. And so for me, the smile is all about brings happiness to yourself, bring happiness for others. But however, there's a caveat I must add. My smile has been my strength, my trademark. Literally everybody kind of, literally everyone talks about it. However, it has been also a stumbling block for my resilience, because my smile kind of helped me mask my problems, my issues, my sorrow, and people couldn't find out that I was going through a tough time, or health issues, or relationship issues, or having a difficult to lend a hand. So that mask also kept me away from getting help. So whilst I love my smile, and people often comment about my smile, and that has become my strength, but I have to tell everyone, please don't use it as a mask to hide behind. So it is as
So
important as
important.
that.
So important. And I think sometimes that mask that we wear for others then also becomes a mask that is the real face. As in, you don't realize when it is the mask and when it really is the real face. So, how do you identify for your own self whether the smile is real or not? How do you do that?
Okay, so it is peeling the mask. They say, people can often see your smile, but people who are close to you or genuinely know you can see the pain behind that smile, and that's what it is. And often we don't pause, we don't stop to see. How many times actually, when you ask someone, "How are you?" do you really stop and listen and notice what that person has to say and their body language? Often it is in a spur of the moment, even before they finish, we are already walking away, particularly if it's a professional environment. And these days, with social media and our gadgets, we are already to the next thing, into the next thing before the person answers. So I guess the first thing is paying attention. So for me, smile S is for self. It is all about self, right? So do you know yourself? Do you know others? So if you don't even know yourself, no way other people are going to know you, right? And then you
Exactly.
have to acknowledge you for who you are. And like I said, yes, people perceived me as a very successful person, happy person. People perceived me to be behind this Instagram lifestyle with the holidays and the car and the house, but behind that there's so much pain and issues. So that is, you have to acknowledge who you are. And the third thing about it is you have to accept who you are. And I think it took me a long time, a lot of failures, a lot of um, difficulties and the depression to hitting the lowest point for me to accept, yes, I'm a bit bigger than other people. That's okay. I didn't study. I will, perhaps my English will never be 100% like other people, and that is okay. I'll never have that English accent like other people speak. Even that is okay. This is me. And the turning point was Vivian McKinnon. She's an Irish lady. I met her in the, you had trained from Andy Harrington, you know that. So
Yes.
I have trained from Andy Harrington. So we went to the same course and we met him. And she was the first person to put that seed. And it always takes that one tiny conversation, one person to, as she said, Menaka, it's a gift, because when we hear you, whether it's audio book or a speech or a podcast or a talk show, we immediately know it's you. It's your voice. Nobody can fake it. Nobody can copy it. And that really gave me so much hope. And that's how I accepted me for who I am. And yes, in particularly within certain communities, being single, being divorced is a failure. And for me to say, fine, that's okay. But my quote is, whatever other people's perception of yours is, leave it as their problem. Don't make it yours.
Absolutely.
You just leave it there.
Leave it there. And I think what she said was so true, because your voice and the accent is melodious to me. It's
Thank you. You've
sweet.
been very kind. Thank you.
No, really, it's melodious. It's sweet. It is so you, so true. And as you were talking about peeling off the mask, I was just thinking, even when you go for a facial, they don't cover your eyes. The mask is all over, and if your smile is, it has to reach the eyes. They say, right?
Yes.
So you can see whether it's real or it's the mask by looking at the eyes and understanding through that window for the soul, that is this person genuinely smiling, or is it just a mask that they're wearing? It's such a
And particularly with COVID, the only place you can see is the eyes. So perhaps
yeah.
this will teach us a bit more to notice your eyes.
Exactly. I actually went down and did this experiment. It was, I think, 4 weeks into lockdown, and we needed to go get some groceries, my husband and I. And so we went out, and I could see the shopkeepers, the attendants, all wearing masks, and everybody was so scared. Like literally, you could see fear in their eyes. And so, as an experiment, as a social experiment, I decided, after getting out of the car and noticing a few faces, I said, I'm going to smile very, very deeply at these people through my mask. I'm just going to smile at them. And as I made eye contact with people, I realized they understood, they reciprocated. Those eyes cringed into, a smile, because they realized I was smiling at them. So people definitely pick it up.
Yes. And it's also important. It's becoming even more important post COVID, post pandemic, because so much of grief, so much of loss, so much of difficulties, and just spread some kindness and compassion, and spread some happiness to everyone around, I guess.
True that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
S S stands for self. So
yes,
there's a lot of acceptance when it comes to self, getting to know what your values are, understanding what
sure.
brings you alive, and things like
Mhm.
that. How do you get to really know yourself? Because a lot of us are living for the others. We don't
Mhm.
know who we are. So tell us a little more about that, please.
So I'm sure you know it as well. For me, the core values, the value exercise, and signature self is so, so important. For me, it is about freedom, it's about connection, it's about progress. These three
Yep.
things, whenever has been in my life, I have been content.
Hmm.
And when those one of them or most of them were taken away, I have been always unhappy. And this
Hmm.
is one of the first exercise I do when I coach, I train, I mentor, because it's so important, and that will make you understand who you are. And
Yep.
it's about taking time as well, pausing. Like we are in a mad kind of rush. We never pause for anything. We are having the cup of tea and thinking the next thing. We are driving our car thinking about something else. We are cooking and we are thinking what else to do next. So we are never in the moment. So
True.
so it's so important for you to understand you. And I think core value is the way to go. It's a personality. I have done hundreds and hundreds of personality tests. Myers-Briggs
Yes.
called me introverted, extroverted, ambiverted. I even wrote an article which got published about being highly sensitive personality. But after all that, for me, I still fall back on my core values, and that has been the most reliable thing for me.
Absolutely. I really think knowing your values is very important because my aha moment, and yes, freedom is one of my values, which is why I don't ever fit into a 9 to 5 job because, freelancing has been my thing. And now with the public speaking, I just feel like I flow. So if you give me a structure, I feel claustrophobic. I feel like, what's going on here? But sometimes structure is also good. It's
Yeah,
like
spot
pushing
on.
yourself.
Because I can never speak to the script. I speak it, heart centered. I am, and I just speak from my heart, whatever comes to my mind. And my never two speeches. Yes, it might be similar, but it will never be the same because
Yeah.
it's.
Absolutely. So, guys, you know what I meant when I said kindred souls. We think alike, we are alike. So, yes, so S is for self. What would M be?
M will be for my motivation. It's about
Hmm.
motivational mindset. So it for me it is about I have broken down to mind. I'm sure you do. So you have perhaps something very similar, but M is for me is meditation or mindfulness. I have
Hmm.
tried meditation. I have tried mindfulness, and I was this girl, like, my dad does a lot of meditation. I used to say, what a waste of time and energy just to sit in one place and do nothing. Being honest, being candid. But I now know how much it helps.
Hmm.
However, for me, mindfulness has been so much easier for me to follow than meditation because I feel
Hmm.
that's much more forgiving. It's much more adaptable to the modern lifestyle. And so, it doesn't have to be. So, if it's okay to get the thoughts and you just pass it on and thinking, say, it's normal. Please welcome.
Hmm.
Come and go as you please. Or you can go for a walk and think. You can drive and think of, just basically nothing else, just focusing on the moment. You
Yeah.
speak to someone right now, I'm not thinking about what I do next, which patient I'm seeing after this, or what
Hmm.
filling and drilling I'm going to do. Instead of that, I'm just focusing on Rakia and smile strategy and what I'm going to say now. And in the moment, I'm not even going to think what I'm going to say 2 minutes later. So that is
Beautiful.
all is mindfulness. And I feel it is so much easier for me personally to. And then the inscription. Journaling was life changing for me. It was
Hmm.
really. And so, of course, in inscription journaling, it's been so many different things. But for me, I can tell 4 5 very important things what I do. What are the things I am grateful for? It doesn't have it to be the major things. It is not that somebody has given me $1 million. It can be having the enjoy the cup of coffee somebody has made for me, or even I have made it. I had the time and the space to do it. Being alive, look
Yeah.
around after the COVID, being around, being able to breathe. My mom calls me every morning. Having that gift of my mom calling me, my
Beautiful.
daughter doing well, or being able to work. People don't understand. Like, I can either think, oh my God, I have to rush today, I have to go to this show, I have a full list of patients, or I can think, oh my God, how lucky I am. Lucky has asked me to speak today. I have this great opportunity to come and speak. So it is, those small things. And then the other thing is what value I have added for somebody else. Again, it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be big things. It can be, did I make a cup of coffee to someone? Did I smile at someone? Did I
Hmm.
say, oh, your hair looks great. Your outfit really suits you, or this color suits you. Small things. It really makes a difference. And then of course, what are the positive takeaways today, and what I could have done better. And
Hmm.
the list goes on. But I think everyone can, if not nothing else, I would say put in a jar. That's how I started. One of my mentors mentioned, in a jar, just write one thing which you are happy about,
Beautiful.
grateful for, just put it. And 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, whenever you feel like, just take it. Particularly on a rough day, when you think you
Roughly.
don't have anything, you lost everything, go back
Right.
and see that, it will immediately change your space,
That.
energy. And I think that is so for me, it's important. And then, of course, reflection.
Yep.
Reflection has been my thing. Just go back and reflect. And I write my inscription or journaling in the morning and in the evening. It's
Hmm.
not paragraphs, trust me. And I wouldn't say, I would be lying to you if I say I do every single day. I
Right.
don't. But most days I do. And I
Hmm.
can see a big difference between the days I do and I don't. So it is an
Yeah.
incentive on its own to do it, because I know when I do it, it is so much better, because the day starts better, day ends better, have a better sleep. So, why not do it? And of
Yep.
course, the decisions, the clarity about who you are, what you want to, and all those things. I think when you go to sleep with that kind of mindset, with the clarity, and I think that's life changing for me. That's about motivational mindset.
Wow. So thank you for sharing that. And we've got Pervez watching. He calls himself the Velvet Wolf, and he was my guest last week. Thank you for watching. And he says Minka has a magical smile. Yes, she does. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, she does. And so, to for those of you who are new to the conversation, to this platform, do subscribe. And also, as you might know, I am called the Smile Strategist, and also I have an acronym for Smile. So, Menica's is S is for self. My S stands for silence the mind. Because we go through so much in our head. Silencing the mind is the first step, is what I say. M for me stands for manage your attention. So, yeah. So, where is your attention going? Do you really want to focus on the negatives, the positives? What do you want to do? How do you want to focus it? Do you want to go towards gratitude or being grumpy? That's it. And what is your I?
For me, it is intentions and integrations.
I
So,
five.
so intention is having clarity about where you want to go. Might be vision boards and visuals, and people have different modes and modalities. I have no problems with everything, because I do everything, and I believe all these things. So, but the more you write down what you want, the more you have the vision board, whatever visual you want to see, everything, the more you believe that you are there. And it's so much of, there's a book called Brain. I would highly recommend everybody to read. And it is it because it is as simple as that. We
Brain?
today who Brain, yeah. Today we
Okay.
who we are is all the culminative effect of our experiences. So the fact is, the brain doesn't know the difference between what experiences you have truly experienced and what experiences you are imagining, if you really put your emotions and feelings into it and you truly believe it is that. And law of attraction, the
Yep.
secret, it all comes from that. So that's what it is for me. So being able to know what is your intention, where do you want to be, what, and so many things have happened. It's just, I often say, I'm a small town girl who didn't study in English till I went to a dental school, and I have gone through ups and downs in my life. And when I got this award in the UK Parliament in 2019, the best thing for me is another small town girl who didn't study in English, who hasn't had major opportunities, can actually think anything is possible. If I can do it, then somebody else also can do it. And it's the same with my book, publishing book, or the talk shows. Or Shiromi comes often to my talk shows, so she has been there. And I know Shiromi is joining from Sri Lanka all the way. So she's a
Wow.
psychologist herself. So it is about believing that it can be, and being very clear about your intentions. And of course, I can go on about that forever, but it is, and integrating it with your life.
Yeah.
It's not only having the intention and believing it, you have to also start doing things
True.
in that,
True. True.
so
True.
it is, yeah.
It's definitely important. The reason
Yeah.
I high fived you was because my I stands for identify the intention. And I think that is so pivotal, isn't it?
Yes.
When I conduct these trainings and I play guess what it could stand for, one very interesting input that I received for I was I stands for the I, the me, because and it's so central to the whole word.
And also I stand for the I. You can
Exactly.
visualize.
You can visualize. It's like you have to visualize your intention. You have to understand where you are going with what you're doing, because sometimes it's almost like calling for an Uber and then sitting in there saying, "Oh, take me somewhere." You don't even know where you're going, why you're going, and for what. So as simple as planning out, chalking out from here to where, And why? Why are you making that trip? Why are you putting yourself through all that pressure and pain of success? What could be leading you to that? So yes, beautiful. Now, the L, what does that stand for?
Yeah. So for me, it is about leading yourself. I call it the love leadership. So L is for language. Words have power. You're the wordsmith.
Absolutely.
So everything you utter, you need to be aware of it. I used to say, I'm so stupid all the time. And till one of my friend pointed out saying, do you see? Of course you will remain stupid if you keep saying that. Because I was a dentist, I was training other dentists, and but it's you are not even aware. So be mindful and be aware of every word you utter. They have
So
meaning, and brain believes everything you say. And then affirmations. A is for affirmations. I'm good enough. Everything flows towards me. Everything, I am exactly where I am supposed to be, or whatever you want to say. There are hundreds of them, I'm sure. Like you just put affirmations in Google, it will come. So
true.
and it's important. But and then unconditional love is for you. In the love, unconditional love, don't it's not nothing is transactional. Don't think, okay, I'm not thinking today, or Rakesh is not thinking, okay, if I invite her, this is going to happen, or if I go as a guest, this is going to happen. No, if
Yeah.
somebody has asked, you respect that, you feel love, you feel happiness in that, be in the moment and enjoy it, and just give what you can give and make life special for everyone around. And I
So
think it
so
is so, so
important.
important. And G is, of course, back again to gratitude. Every small thing people do for you, be grateful. The more you're grateful to the things you have, the more you will have. That's my
Hmm.
experience. And I think I cannot stress that enough. Really.
So true.
Yeah. And of course, H is for highlights, celebrate. And I used to be one of these people who hardly celebrated anything in my life because,
Hmm.
it was what next? What is the next certificate I should do? Or what is the next step I should expand my business or professional growth or something? Now I really have learned to celebrate every single step. Yes, okay, fine. I might not be having thousands and followers or subscriptions in my YouTube channel. It's called Meet Menaka. It's only 431 or 430, but 400, I'm like, hooray, yes, let's celebrate that. So I think these things really, really make a difference for me. So that is
Yes.
about L.
Hmm. And we've got our Velvet Wolf who says, when you can feel the smile, it's a different ball game. Absolutely, I do agree. And he also adds to say, Dr. English is just another language. It is just
I
another.
agree.
It is just another language. Yes, it is. And for those of you watching in, and again for our Velvet Wolf watching and Vidya, guys, Meet Menaka is the name of the channel. Do once you are done with this conversation, please don't leave us halfway. Once you're done with this conversation, do go and hop in over there and give her some support, some subscriptions, because her work is dynamic. She interviews amazing people, and as I said during the introduction, she is very, very affectionately known as the next Oprah of Asia. So yes, as I said, someone who's fabulous in the conversations, and someone who's really doing amazing work. So do follow her. Do connect with her conversations and content on YouTube as well. Um, we went through a journey together with your book, and that
Yes,
was
we did.
fascinating. It was fascinating. You were kind enough and trusting enough to share with me the draft, and we went through it. It was beautiful. The book actually takes you on that journey. It's so beautifully written. It takes you on that journey of fear. It takes you on that journey of uh, falling and then rising. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Okay. So, firstly, thank you so much for reading my draft. And the last chapter I added was about the take on this book from 12 people, and Rakia's take on it is there. And it was Rakia's idea. I know I have to give it to her. She was the one who said, I said, I wanted to get this opinion from everyone. But then Rakesh is the one who said, why don't you make it a number, 12 or 24, something like that, and get these
Well,
women
well,
and
well.
men to write. Yeah, 12. So that's where the idea was born. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And the book is about how I went to the war in Sri Lanka and witnessed it right next to me. And as a child, when I was 9 years old and in my early 20s, and it was disheartening and it was fearful. And I thought I just decided to flee the country. That's the truth. So I left and I went to India. I call it my second home because I've been there for 10 years. Reached there and it wasn't easy. And I, first of all, didn't know the language. I thought India will be the extension of Sri Lanka. How wrong was I? First of all, it was a million more people. Everywhere I turned around, there were people, and more people, and myriads of languages. But you know, other than that initial difficulty, people embraced me like their own. I learned Hindi, I learned Kannada, and I embraced the slangs they use in Tamil in India. But instead of one family, I got so many families. They all embraced me as their own child, own daughter, and lifelong friends. I have like now 30 plus years more, and I went back to in Delhi to speak in Women's Economic Forum. When I spoke, two of my friends from college, they actually came, sat there and listened to me speak. So, I'm so grateful for those opportunities that I had. But it was a difficult journey, definitely. And because I was also the oldest kid in the class, because I had to leave education and start all over again. And then, of course, I came to the UK, my third home, and it had different difficulties. And that's where I think my accent became an issue. But I had to redo my dentistry all over again to do the exams, and then climb my ladder again. Bought my practice, had a fraud for 50 grand, and fell right where I started, and then had a relationship issues, had depression, mental health issues. So my life has been always tipsy story and ups and downs, and that's what the book is about. The subtitle is about healing my wounds, finding my wings. And it is really how I overcame my fears and found the freedom and decided to walk again. And I think, in a nutshell, that's how I can explain my book.
Yes, and it's beautiful. I mean, like it's literally like walking with you and seeing your world through your eyes. The power of words is definitely shines over there. So we have more
Thank
comments
you.
coming in. Says fear is an illness, RK. Yes, it sure is. And more compliments for your smile, my lady. He says your beautiful smile is your signature. Thank you so much, Velvet Wolf, for watching us.
You're being very generous. Thank you.
He's a charmer, a gentleman. We had him on the show last week, and his hearty laugh was like literally echoing through the conversation that we had last week. So it's beautiful. One week a hearty laughter, and another week we have a smile with leadership secrets. So yes.
I will
So
definitely go and see his, because Wednesday is a day I work and I'm busy drilling and filling. So I hardly have time. Like
yeah,
today I
but
had to block an hour off to do this.
thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. How do you bring leadership into the conversation?
So I mainly work with professionals. So I talk about leading the team, leading the organization, but I put in the center leading yourself. So that's how
Mm,
I bring the leadership in. So because it's literally three circles, with three layers, it's like the onion peel effect kind of. It has to be the
absolutely.
center yourself leadership, and then you lead others, and then you lead the organization. And also, I really believe with connecting with your. I don't really like the words clients. I call them community,
Mm,
because I always say connect with people and you will create communities. And I don't believe in, and you don't have to market yourself.
yep,
If you
you don't.
really fulfill your purpose, really serve people with wholeheartedly, give them the unconditional love they so deserve, success will follow. It might not happen overnight, but slowly and surely it will become. And success, what is success, is very different. It's very subjective, different to different
Yeah.
people. So I think that's where it is.
Hmm. So L you said is language, and L in my acronym is let things go. So it's
I
about
love it.
forgiveness. Thank you. It's about forgiveness. It's about letting go of labels, past failures, anything that might be holding you back. And it's interesting. I've presented this across 7 countries already and to different audiences. And the interesting thing is, everybody gets stuck at L because they find it hard. They say, "Why should I forgive the other person?" And why should I let it go? I feel protected if I'm holding on to a hurt, because you're not subjecting yourself to another such situation where you could potentially get hurt. So letting go is mine. What is E for you?
Okay, so letting go is a huge thing for me. I always say to people, you forgive others for you, not for them.
Absolutely.
Because Buddha puts it beautifully. If you don't forgive and hold on to the anger, it's like having poison and expecting somebody else to die.
Yep.
So,
Uh, the example I give is of my trip to Amman at the Dead Sea, where I don't know how to swim. So my excitement in going to Amman and visiting the Dead Sea was, hey, finally I can float, and I don't need anybody to hold on to me. I don't need a funny float to float in the Dead Sea. I can just chill and float. And I stepped into the water, and as I stepped into the water, my my head started speaking to me and saying, "What are you doing? You don't know how to swim. You're getting into water." And suddenly I held on to the rocks by the side. And as I held on to the rocks, those are all sedimentary rocks which have got deposits of salt on it. I started getting bruises with those salty rocks, yet I was holding on. I was scared to let go. So that's what it is, right? You're holding on to stuff that is hurting you, and you're not letting yourself drift into. You're not
yeah,
trusting the process. So it's super important to let things go.
of course, because we carry so much baggage and we don't care, we don't realize how difficult we are making our journey because we are carrying those baggages. The moment we drop, then only we feel how lighter it is and how easy our journey becomes.
Exactly. It's beautiful how things really come together, and also just realizing that you don't need to be carrying that around. You just can put it aside and let it go.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
amazing.
and coming back to the question E, for
Yes,
me, it
please.
is it is about elevating yourself. So once you
Ooh.
go through the whole thing, it is about there are more possibilities. There's no dead ends, right? It is a cyclic thing. It's about expansion, about extension, about what more is possible for you. It is elevating yourself to the next level. So it is about having accountability with someone,
Yep.
having again about reflection, getting feedback from people, getting
Hmm.
coachings and mentors to go to the next. So it's all about progress, and you start all over again the cycle because
Yep.
they say when you stop growing, when you stop learning, you are dying. So it's,
Yeah.
we don't
So
want
that.
that for anyone. So that is my last level, because my last level is a stepping stone for the next level, to be honest. But just make sure, have accountability to make sure you do everything what you have all so far gone through. Get feedback from people, but get feedback from the right people, and then
Yeah.
get guidance, and make sure you get the lessons. Don't discount what you have learned, but also
Mm.
find out for the next level what lessons do you need. It might be experience, it might be skills, it might be knowledge. So fill that gap for the
Yep.
next step, and then get the feedback from people. It is really, really important, and integrate all of them together, and get start ready for the next journey.
Beautiful. And I love what you're saying about get feedback from the right people, because that's so important. Sometimes we rush to anybody and everybody who has a mouth to say, okay, tell me about this. And sometimes with all good intentions, because I feel that everybody has a good intention, hopefully, at the bottom of their heart.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't serve us. So why is it important to speak to the right people? And how do you know who the right people are then?
I guess you don't know what you don't know. It's as simple as that, isn't it? So who is the expert? So in every single area of life, you have an expert. So if I want to learn something in dentistry, I have been having mentor even before my daughter was born. She's 19 years, gone to university now. So I go to person. I have written, mentioned him in my many articles which just got published. If it is anything to do with business, rather than right now, I think he kind of go to person. I will ask. If it was speaking, it was Andy Harrington for us, right? We would
Yep.
look out for him, and it's a everything. So it doesn't mean you have one person who is a mentor. You just, and also I sometimes feel, yes, having those people who have done like Tony Robbins, and it is great, but it is also very important to have people who are one or two steps away from, because
Mm.
that's where you learn the micro learning. The macro
Yeah.
learning is of course from them, but those people can't have or don't have the time or the guidance, and they have gone so far around. It's very hard for you to imagine, and that's where imposter syndrome might kick in. So it's always important also to have people one or two steps away from you, so you learn from them what you can do, and create always a peer system. Have
Mm.
a peer group, learn from each other. So I think, and also always remember to extend your help for the next lot. So it's like almost three steps. One is above you, one is at your level, the peer level, and one is behind you. And you'll be so surprised how much you will learn from people behind you when you extend your hand. There are so many steps you might have missed, and the best way to learn is by teaching, and
So true.
that's what you will have when you do that.
It is so, so true. Knowing that you could be of support to somebody else is such a gratifying feeling, that you are able to contribute through your journey by being authentically yourself. It is so, so powerful. My E stands for energize the possibilities, which is very in alignment with what you are saying, because it's all about putting things into action. It's about understanding what is it that needs to happen. You've learned a course. We've now gotten a smile strategy from you. We've got the 5 steps. Now people have to pick up what they are going to take from here and put it into action into their world. You can't just keep consuming content and then say, I'm not getting any results. It's like, you're not putting in the action has to happen. So that's so important, elevating
I,
yourself, taking
yeah.
yourself one level up with the education that you're getting, with the learnings that you're getting.
I think it's three
Beautiful.
steps, isn't it? Getting the content, application of content, and then reflecting what you have done and learn from it. I think it's like three steps.
Absolutely, it is so, so important. Thank you. um, Knowing that we have another 12 minutes, and you have blocked just an hour for us, and that I'm so grateful for that. Tell us, what has been your biggest learning from the many ups and downs of life?
People come to you for a reason.
Hmm.
They have, because I always say thank you so much for people who have shown me so much love, support, and encouragement. My family, my friends, my well wishers, but even bigger thank you for people who criticized, disheartened me, and disappointed me. Because if they were not there, perhaps I wouldn't be here where I am today. Because I think that it definitely makes you want to reflect more, want to learn more, and to want to grow more, and always start thinking, what is my part in it?
Hmm.
Yes, it is so much easier to say, poor me, what somebody has done to you. But always it's important to stop and pause and think, what role have I played? What is my
Hmm.
part in it? Might be it is your role by saying nothing.
Hmm.
It is your role by going along with it. And sometimes what is your role is, I think it is Maya Angelou who said, first time when they show yourself, trust them. You don't,
Hmm.
sometimes you think, no, these things are going to change. Sometimes they don't. But because I recently wrote a post, the biggest teacher is your last mistake. And it
Yes.
is so true, right? So I think for me, it is everything happens for a reason. Yes, it's very painful when you go through it, and that's the reason my book is called Resilience Learned. How I have learned from every setback, disappointment, and failures. And I have plenty. I say I have a crown for my failures. I do, but no cramps about it. Everything has taught me a lot, and I become better person for it. And I think that's what life has taught me, and not to take things too seriously. I think everybody else is busy with their own life. We think everybody's just thinking about us. They don't. They have bigger things to worry about. So I think you should live your life and let other people live their own life. And be authentic is the most important thing. You know,
Yes.
when you smile, do you really smile? When you are saying to them you're going to be there, are you going to be really there for someone? And also, like, sharing the story is good, but why are you sharing a story? Are you sharing a
Hmm.
story with the intention to help someone become better, or are you sharing the story to get pity, or are you sharing a story to get help? So it's really very different. And also, for me personally, I feel I share the story, particular things about my story, only for people who deserve to listen to it. Certain parts of my story is not for everybody. So, it's okay. And I think these distinctions I definitely didn't know a decade ago, 2 decades ago. So every day you learn something new. And I think if you keep your eyes and ears open, and you can learn from everyone.
I, I I so fully agree with you when it comes to sharing the story, because what's recently happened is I've realized that as much as being vulnerable, and I share my story as it is as well, and as much as it's okay to be vulnerable, what I've also realized is sometimes that can go against you, where people see vulnerability as a weakness and they could use that against you. And so I've also understood that it's important to realize, who do you want to be? How do you want to bear all to? Do you really have to be naked in front of everybody, or do you have to pick the people who are in your room? You know, that's
Yeah,
so important.
yeah.
Um, and as you said, focusing on yourself, leadership, leading I is the central, and connection builds communities. I think I call my community or my people my circle of genius. And as you receive the email, it says, I am inviting people from my circle of genius to be part of these conversations, because it's you and I, your circle of people come to listen, my people come to listen, and then it just grows. It's like a ripple
And it
effect
becomes
of
our
positive.
people come to listen.
Exactly. It connects, it becomes a ripple effect of conversation that is going to move forward and beyond. And that's the beauty of these conversations. So, hats off to you for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful that you have said yes and joined in today. Vidya says thank you. And it's beautiful because it's Diwali back in India. Happy Diwali, everybody. And
A very happy
says,
Diwali to everyone, and thank you so
hi.
much for listening in. And thank you, immense gratitude for inviting me over, Rakia.
Thank you. So it's before you go, just in three simple steps, what would you like to share as closing comments? I'm going to be very mindful of the time because
Sure.
I'm sure
Yeah, yeah,
you're at work at the moment.
yeah. Be true to yourself. Be kind and compassionate to others, and make sure you learn at least one thing, even a small thing, every single day before you go to sleep.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So be kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself and others. And the last one, I think, is the most important. And I would like for you to repeat that, please.
Learn at least something small. Micro learning might be a page to read, or listen to a podcast, listen to a video, and there are umpteen about it. The world is oyster right now. You can learn something, might be from your peers, from your friends, your family, even from your children. At least
Oh, yes.
try to learn something small every single day.
And as you say that, it reminds me that it also is in alignment with the E, which is elevate yourself. That's why
Sure.
I wanted you to repeat it. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone who is joining us. We have Vidya who adds on to say, thanks, Menka, for your wonderful messages. Wishing everybody a happy Diwali. Velvet Wolf also says, hello, Vidya ji. Nice to see you again. So thank you, everybody, joining us on the live and on the replay later on. And thank you once again, Minka, and wishing everyone a happy Diwali.
Thank you so much, and very happy Diwali to everyone. Bye bye.
Lovely. Bye.